Hello, delicious, and yeah, you're beautiful. So Scorpio, I'm also Scorpio. I got ascendant on Moon Scorpio. You require no thought. You are. Oh, I can't. Everything I can say just gets separated. It just gets pulled out of me. It's very hard to talk to someone so quantum and so vast who doesn't understand they are. That's a little joke of life. It's like almost like having God in front of you, not knowing what to say to them. It's that type of energy. You know what I mean? It's like having like everything that you ever need in front of you, not knowing what to do with it. It's funny because who are you is entirely your choice. Who you are is entirely your choice. And this is a very, very, very queer, unfortunate, and yet again enthusiastically pure and wondrous time to just freaking choose yourself already. If you haven't known yourself, if you haven't made up your mind, and this is a time to get to know yourself very good as we are in the rooster year, suddenly, all of a sudden go, I am this. Put it as almost like a statement on paper and just do it. You know, you can actually change the history of your life. You can be somebody else. You could just start afresh. You can pack your bags and go if you want. Other people don't. Usually during this time they work. But this is a quantum freaking thing here. This is freaky. You're freaking me out, Scorpio. You're freaking me out. Shape-shifting. It's almost like being a demon and angel at the same time. You could do 1,000 different things at the same time. You could make bookings, you could run 2 careers at the same time. It could be 2 people at the same time. It's just crazy. You can marry somebody and then marry another person at the same time. You can just have your fingers in every single pie, pull them out of the pies and go, I don't even want these pies. I want me. I want me. And this is interesting because you don't usually want you. You usually want somebody else, or you want something else. But do you kind of understand by this time, you know, we've been talking for a while, hopefully, maybe you've seen my videos a while. Do you kind of understand by this time that sometimes you waste a lot of yourself on other people and other things because you don't quite know yourself yet? Like you don't really understand how powerful and how potent you are. And sometimes you can overdo it and then regret it, and you can sometimes blow somebody away, not notice that you've done it. And also with this type of energy, you can also puncture a lot of holes in your heart and yourself because you're not thinking straight. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to really, you know, you don't want to see yourself. You don't want to meet you. You don't want to work with you sometimes. It is so much easier to fall in love or to have a very erratic experience somewhere than to really get to know you. And this is true. This is true. I feel about me and a lot of other Scorpio people that we can't handle ourselves sometimes. And we've got to switch lanes, and we've got to do it fast. We've got to maybe like erratically break up or erratically get ourselves together with something or somebody just in order to freaking feel. And that sometimes is and isn't yours. It is just feeling. But by it being a collectively structuring month, as was last month, and I know it's so dull having 2 structuring months back to back. I know it's dull, it's superficial, it feels really, really superficial to keep on going, but by structuring, and this is me, I know, like, this is me, like, thinking in retrospect and thinking in terms of long-term planning. For some Scorpios, life is like this, you know, it's like I could just go to Hollywood right now. You know what I mean? It's like I can just approach this person right now. I could just get married tomorrow. I can just do this thing right now. I could just get pregnant and have a child. I could just do this and that. You could just pack up your bags and go to Paris. You can do a lot of different things here, Scorpio, and you aren't alone because there's many of us kind of sorry, kind of a bit scary to ourselves and what we know and what we've learned. We're a little bit scary to ourselves, and the fact that perhaps we never really cared about things we thought we cared about, or we never really were that lost. We were never lost, and suddenly you kind of understand, oh my gosh, I'm just a crazy wanderer. I'm just a crazy wanderer that's never lost. I'm never half-half. I'm actually always just me. And this is a very, very purifying time because you might, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, even if you've got like Libra mix like me, or you got some Pisces thing going on, you might just know it suddenly. That's mine. This is who I am. And this is the purest form of you, I feel truly. Like this month, you could just do the thing, but for some of us, we have to think chronologically. Some of us can just escape. It actually couldn't hurt. During this time, it is not likely to hurt. You know, doing things a little bit on the crazy side, like 2 weeks into December, just, packing your bag and going to Hawaii. It probably wouldn't hurt. If you've got a little strategy, if you've got a little business plan, especially if you've got something to do with money linked into it, yeah, cool, go for it, go for it. It's an incredible time to just basically put all your cards on the table, put your Bibles together and go, ha, I could have done this 3 years ago and I'm just doing this now. So it is a very, very, very pushy energy, and it can actually make you marvel at everything you've ever thought you were. You could just look at your whole life and go, who is this person? Why this person stayed at home for so long? Why this person tried so hard to be here? Why this person tried so hard to be there? So it's a really funny little life here, really, in December for yourself, unless you're wanting to work things through, which would make you 3 times as powerful than before. So, for example, and this is quantum stuff. It's like a magnifying glass. It is like, seriously, you think it's like a little droplet, but it's like an avalanche. It's a boomerang. It's crazy. So you can really, like, suck people in. You can get married to the person that's been avoiding you. You could travel the world. You could make a new start. You can, for some reason, take your business elsewhere. You can do this. You can do that. You can just quantum. Or, and this is crazy. Well, there is an energy of everybody trying to figure their stuff out this December. And this is not just for you and me. I mean, this is just for all people. I feel everybody's got a little bit of a, right, I need to work something out. There is a working out. It's almost like a study group. Like, I love these things. Like in tertiary education, like you get like people sitting together and they're all reading their books and they all got their like eyes on the books. It's such a nice energy. I really love this a lot, like the nerdy, like geeky library. And if you are here, of course you can look at the library and say, this is stupid, I can walk out, I can go anywhere I want, I can go here, 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 and here, and I can make 1,000 different connections, and I can fall in love overnight, and then I can do this and this. Yes, you can. You can. Definitely, you can. You can swallow the world, Scorpio. You can actually eat us all up for breakfast, You can just do it. And you could even commit weird and terrible things here. You could just fly away, you can close doors, you can say never again. There is a big magic wand in your hand, basically, and you can just do this. Okay, this is what it feels like during this month, but by being a little bit patient, I know, it's not fun, okay, I know, it's not fun. And you're so hard to reach right now, because you're like a star, you're like the Christmas tree star. You're just so high up above the world, so high, like a diamond in the sky. Goodness gracious, you're a miracle. But if you're just patient, and whatever you've been working on for the last 3 months, be it feelings, be it presence, be it meditation, be it yoga, be it feeling for others, be it work, be it constant connection to source, be it, anything, creating, sewing, making, whatever. If you've got a very good business mind, if you've got a really nice business brain, if you've got lots in your chart that suggests that money is easy or that you can make it a lot further going than you, or there is some kind of very special touch with social marketing and economics, you go girl, or you go boy, you can make it larger than life. So for example, you're sewing quilts or something, you're making pancakes, I don't know, whatever you do, and if you keep on working away like a nerd, like kind of a nerdy nerd, keeping on, you may find that in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's worth 4 or 5 times more than you thought. You could even create a monster. It's like Frankenstein. It's almost scary. It's like you create this monolith and it's just looking at you. It's like, it's like you're baking pancakes, making recipes. For example, you are creating an organic brand, making pancakes, everybody, like all your Scorpio friends are like, come on, you can do anything. And you're like, making pancakes, I'm just making pancakes. in 3 or 4 weeks, it becomes a freaking monster that's like here. You know what I mean? So whatever babies are born out of you, you know, you're sitting next to this giant. Okay, so this is your baby. Like this is your book or your pancake mix or whatever you made. Let's make a pancake mix. Okay, so you made a pancake mix and it's like up here, and you're sitting next to this giant, and you're like, yeah, and it's almost too big to fit through any door. You know what I mean? It's like you created a monster. So when you are working on things and you're like mildly making this little Sufi dance with life, and you're creating and you're making and you're molding and sculpting, you might feel that this is what you kind of live for, you know, or you might not, but you can also find yourself in a little bit of a rut there as well. So this is like the summer of your life maybe, or this is like a big push of life, or this is a big push of laughter. Like this could be a big expansion for you in terms of walking the earth, doing crazy stuff, you know, making new things, you know, becoming a new you all over and over. But here you've started again, you know, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like do the same pancake mix, I'm just gonna do greater pancake mixes, and then I'm gonna sell my pancake mix, I'm gonna be a famous pancake mix person. And then you are, perhaps you might be, but this could perhaps not last if you're not sure if you want to do it. This is a very, very fine line. So like for example, I'm an astrologer, I'm a psychic. It's something that I've always wanted to be since I was little, and this is how come I'm going to keep on going with that stuff. But also I can do this overseas because it's just a matter of laptop, you know what I mean? So if you have a balance, that's really good. If you don't, consider this: if you are keeping on, it might be a monster later that you might need to sell, or you might need to find a very special place for. It might not be easy to create something that is beyond itself unless you're doing it from the past. So it's like, for example, you got materials from the past and creating the past into the future. It's very, very tricky, but you can, some of us Scorpios, we can commit to something, and we can build it, and we can actually work it, we can sell it for millions of dollars later. We can. So Scorpio, you can create something that outlasts you and becomes like a big, larger dimension for others, for you to be just a part of it. You will be then seeing just a little part of something giant that you've created. So that can be, so an overgrowth, okay, an overgrowth of like a being. So you are becoming almost like your own monster in a sense. So anything to do with work, anything to do especially with sequences, like making something all the time, writing and typing, creating, speaking, talking, making sequences. You could, because we've got also in Sagittarius Mercury retrograde and Mars in the 12th, so you could make something that becomes you and can almost even rule your life. You know, it's like I can sort of imagine these birds, you know, cuckoo nest stuff, like when the chick is much bigger than the parent and it like bullies its parent into like bringing it food all the time, you know, it's quite scary. So I suppose with that in mind, also there could be a question of children and fertility. Yeah, so that's another thing that you could do. I would probably recommend balancing it out and definitely using this. It's almost like the summer of your life, or the maybe even the equinox of your life. There is something of your life here, something of your life. And to see how you may want to enrich it even further and make it even more potent, colorful, and beautiful for yourself than it already is. Or if you haven't been able to create the big break for yourself, and you're saying in your 40s that you've tried and you can't relax, you can't have the summer of your life because you're constantly crying inside because you haven't yet discovered that perfect recipe for your pancake mix, then do the pancake mix. It's okay. So if you really want to go further, if you really want to try and collapse like your future in a sense in order to create another, meaning if you want to collapse the idea of skiing and skydiving and doing all the fun stuff for that time period where you can create that nerdy freaking Frankenstein thing that then becomes the biggest sale of your life, you can. So you can. So if you want to work, you can work, and yes, big prosperity is possible and obvious there. Or you can become somebody who is amongst many the only one with just, say, a little bag and a wallet, able to walk any direction in the world, perhaps already. Perhaps you can jump into any situation, you can make friends with anybody, perhaps you can start a business elsewhere. Maybe you can start becoming some kind of like a celebrity scientist or something like that. So you can, if you are listening to my videos and you're a Scorpio and you've got great knowledge about the pyramids, if you know, like it's just boring to you now, but it's good to be bored. You know, like, you know, knowledge about the pyramids, you already know, a lot of stuff about movie trivia, you got to do something and you kind of maybe inspired not so much by me, but by the by the channel. If you're inspired by the channel, perhaps it is time for you to also have a channel of your own. So if you wanted to, for example, do something like that, it's very lucky here. If you want to start a business, if you want to start a trip, if you want to start planning things, if you want to go away for a while, but not if you're not used to it. Well, also if you're not used to it, it's fine, but it's good to have a balance. So it's got to be a nice safety net. So nothing like I'm running away from home. So it's got to have a joy about it. And a joy and kind of like, you know, this sexy roughness that you have about you. You know, it's like just throwing things around, you know, throwing ideas around. Yeah, I'm going to go to Bali. Like, why not? Yeah, okay, no, we're up to that's probably a good idea. Why not to go to Bali? But, you know, it's like you're going to different places, and it is a very good time to also consider people that aren't tied. They aren't tied to anything. They aren't obsessed with you, they aren't looking for you, so people that can go any place, anywhere, your best friends. And also another thing probably is to create a greater feeling of family amongst many. So you might actually have the courage perhaps now and the opportunity to make many contacts and to have many friends in different places. So people in good places, people in funny places. It's interesting to meet people perhaps around the world that have a really nice contact list themselves. So branching out, skyrocketing, anything to do with making money or making peace or making products or making something with another person is really good. And yes, to be fair, also not to overdo it. So very nice not to be too nerdy there, because people don't seem to like it about you sometimes, Scorpio. To have more passion circulating with people perhaps rather than work, unless you really truly want to get it perfect. So if you feel like you're done and you're finished and you are like at a nice plateau for yourself, it is really good to take yourself further and to socialize. Thank you so much, and I hope it has not been boring. These are my books. You already know. I've done videos about them. You've probably already scouted them out or researched them. You probably already know. You already know, like, many miles ahead of what's going to happen. And yes, this is Paulina's astrological almanac, and it is a planner. It's really easy. It's really easy. It's for 2018. So dog year planner. If you'd like one, I got one because I wrote one, and I think it's probably my best work so far, actually. So if you'd like to have a look, they're online. So all the links are below, and if you'd like a reading, let me know. Thank you very much, Scorpio. I'm very excited as to what's gonna happen next. Thank you, and goodbye.